Definitely heard about this massive wave of new weight loss drugs. But today, we're going to push way past the headlines and all the hype. We're taking a real journey together from that midnight pull to the fridge straight into the fascinating reality of how these medications are literally rewiring our biology. So welcome to our explainer on the science of GLP-1. We're starting off with this question for a very specific reason. It completely removes that old, tired stigma of failed willpower. I mean, picture it. It's 2 a.m., you're not even genuinely physically hungry, but there's this nagging pull to just go open the fridge, and it absolutely will not let go. For decades, right, we've been told this is just a test of discipline. But the actual truth, that craving is a super intense, ongoing chemical conversation happening right between your gut and your brain. It's a steady stream of signals that, honestly, you never consciously chose to have. And I really want you to notice this specific phrase here, food noise. It just perfectly captures that endless mental chatter so many people deal with. Your mind constantly, relentlessly circling back to snacks and your next meal. Well, these new medications, they essentially step right into the middle of that chemical conversation we were just talking about, and they quietly change the subject. For a lot of patients, the absolute greatest relief wasn't even the shrinking waistline, but this sudden, incredible silence where all those loud cravings used to live. Section 1, how GLP-1 medicines work. So you've probably seen this really clunky acronym thrown around, GLP-1 receptor agonist. Let's actually break that down into plain English. See, your body naturally produces this hormone called glucagon-like peptide 1, or GLP-1 for short, every single time you eat. It travels around your body basically announcing, hey, food has arrived. Now think of receptors as these little antennas sitting on your cells, just waiting to pick up that message. An agonist drug acts kind of like a manufactured copycat. It perfectly mimics your natural hormone, clicks right into those receptor antennas, and broadcasts a really loud, steady signal telling your brain that you are full. And this right here? This perfectly illustrates the massive scientific breakthrough that actually made all of this possible. Your body's natural GLP-1 is incredibly fragile. Literally, the moment it's released, your body sends in this enzyme called DPP4, which sweeps in and destroys the GLP-1 in just a matter of minutes. Which, is perfectly fine for a natural after-meal signal, but it's totally useless if you're trying to make a medication out of it. So scientists took that fragile messenger and engineered it. They created semaglutide. Now, semaglutide shares 94% of the natural hormone structure, but it's modified just enough to completely dodge that enzymatic cleanup crew. So instead of whispering for 2 minutes and fading away, this modified copycat stays active in your bloodstream for an entire week. Now, once that week-long signal is up and running, it actually hits 3 different organs all at the exact same time. It's this beautifully coordinated effort. First off, down in your stomach, it actually slows down how fast your food empties, which keeps you physically feeling full longer. Second, it travels deep up into your brain, specifically hitting the hypothalamus to directly dial down your appetite and silence that food noise. And third, over in the pancreas, it kicks off the release of insulin while simultaneously suppressing glucagon, which beautifully smooths out your blood sugar levels. It's literally one copied signal, acting on 3 different targets to produce one massive overall result. Section 2. Decoding the brand names. Now, pay close attention to this part because it honestly surprises almost everyone. Ozempic and Wegovy, they are the exact same molecule. It's all semaglutide. They are essentially the exact same drug, just packaged under different brand names, approved for different primary medical conditions, and prescribed at slightly different maximum doses. Ozempic was approved first to help manage blood sugar for type 2 diabetes. Wegovy, on the other hand, was approved later specifically and explicitly to treat obesity. But the science definitely isn't stopping there. The market is evolving incredibly fast right now. We started off with these single receptor copycats, like semaglutide. But now we're looking at dual action drugs. Think tirzepatide, which you might know as Mounjaro or Zepbound. These actually push on 2 gut signals at once, GLP-1 and GIP, for an even stronger effect. And researchers are already testing experimental triple receptor drugs like retatrutide, sometimes called triple G. But hey, a really quick word of caution here. The demand is so sky high for these that people are dangerously trying to buy unapproved experimental chemicals online from overseas. Please, always consult a real doctor. Section 3. Side effects and AI discoveries. Look, we have to remember these drugs aren't magic. They are powerful medicines. When you fundamentally alter your digestion by physically slowing down your stomach, gastrointestinal side effects become incredibly common, especially when patients are first ramping up their doses. We are talking about nausea, vomiting, constipation, and gastric reflux. And while it is rare, there are also some very serious risks to be aware of, like pancreatitis, which is a highly painful inflammation of the pancreas that requires immediate emergency care.
But here is where the story actually takes a pretty fascinating turn. Look at this massive number, 400,000. That represents the number of Reddit posts recently analyzed by a new AI system developed by researchers over at the University of Pennsylvania. Basically, they used artificial intelligence to tap into the patient grapevine. They wanted to see if the millions of everyday people taking these drugs were actually experiencing side effects that those super-controlled, neat clinical trials somehow missed.
And wow, the AI uncovered some truly amazing crowdsourced data. By sifting through hundreds of thousands of casual posts, the researchers found that patients are regularly experiencing systemic changes that fall completely outside the standard clinical warnings. For instance, about 4% of users reported pretty strange menstrual irregularities. Others were describing temperature-related symptoms, unexplained chills and hot flashes, or even noticeable hair loss. It just goes to show that manipulating your gut hormones creates this really broad ripple effect across your entire body.
Now, understanding how the body actually reacts like this helps us bust a massive media myth right now. You've almost certainly heard people talking about Ozempic face. This idea that the drug itself somehow makes you look suddenly older or visibly hollowed out. Well, the truth? It's not some special chemical damage caused by the medication at all. It is literally just the natural biological result of rapid fat loss. When you lose weight that quickly, you lose the subcutaneous fat that naturally plumps up and cushions your facial features. That's the whole mystery, right there.
Section 4. The reality of stopping. Even before you ever consider stopping the medication, there is a crucial physical reality you absolutely have to understand. When your body loses weight this rapidly, it doesn't just exclusively burn fat. It can and will strip away your precious vital muscle mass too. And what that means is that consuming a high-protein diet and committing to daily exercise, especially strength training, well, it isn't just some nice bonus. It is an absolute medical necessity while you're on these drugs to protect your body's structural foundation. And here is the stark, step-by-step reality of what happens when you actually stop the treatment. Step 1, the medication stops. Step 2, that super loud, week-long artificial GLP1 signal completely fades out of your bloodstream. Step 3, your old biological baseline wakes back up, meaning all that natural hunger and that relentless food noise comes rushing right back in. And finally, step 4, as the clinical studies clearly show, much of that lost weight is frequently regained. This beautifully illustrates exactly why doctors view these drugs just like blood pressure medicine. It is designed as a long-term, ongoing management tool, not a temporary, magical cure-all. So I want to leave you with this really incredible thought to ponder today. Researchers are currently testing these exact same gut-brain medications to treat conditions that have absolutely nothing to do with food. We're talking about clinical trials for alcohol addiction, smoking, and compulsive behaviors. If a simple, manufactured copy of a hormone from our intestines can so completely rewrite our deep-seated cravings, well, it really makes us wonder, doesn't it? Just how much of our core human behavior is simply a quiet chemical conversation, just waiting to be rewritten. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer today, and as always, keep asking great questions.